best in the world of sports. I'm Paolo Del Rosario.
And we give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite sports icons and athletes. I'm Boom Gonzalez, and in tonight's Game Plan, we'll break down some interesting storylines for the second round of the UAAP Men's Basketball Tournament.
And we'll also get a preview of the clash between the champions Creamline and Petro Gazz in the PBL Reinforced Conference. I wonder who our guest is. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. The UAAP is on its final week before entering the much-awaited second round of eliminations. Now, joining us to talk about some interesting storylines is UAAP analyst Coach Willie Wilson. Coach Willie, how you doing?
Mr. Prime Time!
We're back in prime time, right?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Coach, there's so much to talk about here because it has been an unpredictable almost the first round. There's so many things happening, right? I want to start off first with the team that hurt, well, my feelings the most, UE. Because UE this season, a bit surprising for some people. Were you surprised in general? We saw their lineup. We saw Coach Don coming in. Coach Jack is doing great things with this program. What's your thoughts on them?
Well, for a UE squad that didn't win any games last season, I don't want to say last year because only a few months ago, there was nowhere to go but up. No way to go but up. So you see the pieces that they added, Luis Villegas, a CJ Payawal, Agani Stevens. That was what was missing last season. It was that, that size. And they got that, 6'6", 6'4", and then another 6'6". And now, 0 wins last season, 3 already in just the first round. I think you can consider that a success. They get a little taste of winning. Now they're building a winning culture, and I see them just continuing to build on top of that.
You were here also that time, and then we did the first UE game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And you said that you saw this kind of coming. We saw how they played in that first game, even if they lost, and you knew that there was a different kind of energy. Tomorrow's UP, or Wednesday's UP, what are your thoughts on that one?
Well, again, what's the saying? Bilog ang bola.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bilog ang bola. So
great accent.
Thank you.
You say it better than I do.
with the experience on that UP side, the championship experience, coming off a huge win, and I think that is the only thing, or the biggest thing working in UE's favor, is that UP is coming off of a huge win, and we know how teams tend to get lackadaisical, kind of
coming down from a high.
Yes,
okay, I get it.
UE did that to LaSalle.
Right.
So it's basically repeating the same thing, if ever. Yeah. So moving on here, though, as we see some of the highlights of the UE Red Warriors there, the NU Bulldogs, a lot of people had been pegged to be a challenger for the Final Four, especially with their preseason performances in Phil Oil. Right now, it still looks like it's on track. Do you think that they have enough to actually pull it off and end up comfortably in that Final Four?
Well, if you look at their lineup and how evenly spread out the talent is, I don't see them lacking in any one position, especially with the comebacking Steve Nash Enriquez. So you have your 2 solid guards in Kian Baclaan, Steve Nash Enriquez, a plethora of wings.
Yes.
And then you have your big man in the middle. So when you go up against those bigger teams in Omar John. And to add all that together with the system of Coach Jeff Napa, who is a master tactician, and he's a defense-first coach, and we all know that defense wins championships.
We talked to Steve Nash Enriquez on the first game of National University and asked him when was he coming back, and now I can say it, and he said the first game was UP. He was targeting UP, and they won against UP. Is this team, do we still overlook them? Is this a team that still doesn't get enough respect because of maybe the glamour of UP, the championship experience of Ateneo? Speaking of glamour, LaSalle also with the equal amount. What do you think?
We are glamorous.
We are. Green is glamorous. No, I do feel that they are overlooked. even though they are tied at number 1.
Correct,
But
4-1.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the names, more
Okay.
so than anything.
Okay.
You look at the names of on that
Oh,
UP
Steve
squad.
Nash, man.
Yeah, he has a great name. He has a great name.
He's big in Canada.
Yeah, he has a great name, but Carl Tamayo,
Right.
Gilas, and then
Yeah.
you look at Ateneo.
Kai Balungay.
Yeah, Kai Balungay,
Fort Padrigao,
Ange
yeah.
Kwame. And then same
Right.
thing with LaSalle. You have these big names.
Correct. Okay.
As far as NU.
Good point.
It's just, very systematic squad.
Hey, people should get to know John Lloyd. Just saying. Anyway,
JLG,
moving on.
baby.
Moving on to Ateneo. Of course, Ateneo, again, losing to UP very recently. I saw messages about their recent record against UP. Actually, in the last 5 games, UP have had the upper hand against Ateneo. They lost to LaSalle for the first time in 7 years. And a lot of Ateneo fans are already hitting the panic button. Should they, though?
I wouldn't hit the panic button. Again, one good break here, one good break there. They would win against LaSalle. They would win against UP. You saw some point blank layups being missed. Some of those go in. They win those games. I think the biggest thing is experience. You saw that team last season. That second unit was led by Tyler Teo,
Right.
a senior. Mamuyak, a senior.
Right.
So you had the experience there.
Right.
This season, Chris Kuhn, he's in his second year. And then you have Paulie Garcia, he's in his first year. This second round coming up is going to be so key for those guys to get as much experience as they can to bring with them for that push to make the finals.
The point you're trying to make here also, correct me if I'm wrong, Coach, is that give or take a few plays here, they could be 5-0.
Yes.
Against LaSalle and against
100%.
UP.
Yeah,
But who has
100%.
impressed you? Ildefonso finally breaking out yesterday against UP. Against UP. Fourth skate, Padrigao. What a season this kid is having.
I'm not surprised with Dave Ildefonso.
Right.
We all know what what he can do. He's a scorer that has turned into a playmaker. Think early James Harden into James Harden becoming a point guard. That is what Dave Ildefonso is morphing into.
Yeah.
Forrest Padrigao is the big surprise there. Just how look at his fourth quarter.
Swagger,
Down by 5.
Yeah.
And then
Struggling the whole game.
Struggling the
Yeah.
whole game. Takes him into overtime.
Yeah.
And then almost does the same thing again in overtime. But when I saw him last season, I already saw glimpses like, wow, this guy has some pizzazz.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got it. He's got the it.
that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
for sure,
Okay.
100%. Now, of course, the happiest fans in the UAP have to be the UP Fighting Maroons because of they have defeated already in the first round some of those who were considered some title contenders in LaSalle, in Ateneo, and right now they're feeling very confident, or at least they're feeling very good about the chances of a back-to-back. And do you feel the same way?
Well, I'd have to, agree with them. They're coming off a huge win. Every player is playing up to par. So the usual suspects. We expect Carl Tamayo to play this way. He's playing this way. We expect Xavier Lucero to play this way. He's playing this way. And then to add on to that, they get back JD Cagulangan, who hits his first 3 on the same spot where he wins it for them last season.
Little concern, he was holding on to that.
Yeah. But he stayed in the game.
We'll
so
see.
poetic.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
right? I have to ask you about FEU, Coach.
Okay.
They're not a winning team right now. Are you shocked and just with the record?
I have to say yes. I am shocked with the record. I would expect them to, have at least 1, possibly 2 wins.
Right.
They have a team. They have a pretty experienced team. But then I go back to who is gone. They lost RJ Barrientos, which
Lang.
But now we see where he is. He's the
And
best
what he's
player
doing,
on a pro team.
Correct.
So that's a
Huge.
big departure, and they just need to recalibrate, reformulate, and just relearn how to win ball games.
Such a winning school. That's why I had to ask you.
Right.
No, absolutely, and I agree with that. But then, of course, for the FEU fans out there, since we were talking about that, do you feel that they could still make a late push considering the talent level that they have. I know that we're hoping that they could hit a couple more wins before the end of the first round, but then, of course, when you look at their future moving forward here, do they have any silver linings to hold on to?
Oh yeah, I mean, right now at this juncture, that push to make the Final Four may be out of reach, considering who is up top. But there are plenty silver linings. I mean, you have Patrick Sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, revelation. He's their leading scorer, unexpected, and that's somebody that you can build around for the future. And then you have other guys on there like Ano Nuevo, who is another person that you can build around.
Sandagon.
And Sandagon. So these are guys you build around and you look to the future.
All right. Hey, speaking of the UAAP, second round is coming up. Not yet, but we're winding it up, and then we get to the second round. So never miss a game, as the UAAP is always live on the UAAP Varsity Channel, One Sports, Signal Play, and Smart Gigaplay every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thank you very much, Coach Willie Wilson, Mr. Primetime. And after the break, we'll find out how the Cherry Tigo crossovers cruised their way to an early lead in the 2022 PVL Reinforced Conference. Stay tuned. You're still watching The Game. Welcome back to The Game. The heart of volleyball just got more exciting as the best local and foreign athletes join forces. And here's a look at the latest standings in the 2022 PVL Reinforced Conference. The Cherry Tigo Crossovers grab an early solo lead, being the only undefeated team so far with 2 wins. And the Reinforced Conference defending champions, Petro Gazz Angels, Grand Slam seeking Creamline Cool Smashers, both have a 1-0 record. Let's find out more about the teams from our volleyball analyst, Mela Tunay. Hello! Welcome back! Good to see you, partner!
Buti na lang si Boy nag-intro kasi laging may ano to. Pakulutan si Pao pag-intro.
Sa extra, maghintay ka.
Just you wait, Mela. Just you wait.
Okay, Cherry, Tigo. I did their first game against F2. They were very impressive. One of my favorite parts of that, and I'm sure makaka-relate ka dito, Mela, is yung pagbabalik ni EJ Laure.
Yes.
Tell me about your overall impressions of Cherry. 2-0 so far.
Well, if there's anything about Cherry Tigo, how they look right now, it's really how their locals are performing. It kind of gives me their vibe during the 2021 Open Conference, wherein their system talaga, it's very, like, they really display dominance. And like right now, in their overall system, that's what I see. I covered their game also the other day. So parang, it's not just their offense, it's really their all-around game. Like even their defense, and it's not just their libero, even EJ, even Paat has gotten a lot of digs. So
Parang healthy niya, no?
Oo. So I think nakapag-adjust na sila because after the 2021 championship, Open Conference 2022 walang Jaja, Invitational walang din. So for me, it's only now that the locals are really embracing na they have to step up because all the rest of the other teams have been stepping up.
You know, like the both of you, I've also covered them already sa Smartiga play. But when you talk about Cherry, they have that different energy. Sa simula pa lang eh. The starting lineup, even I admit na napaisip ako eh, like, is this the optimal lineup? And they did take a win against F2. Sa palagay mo ba, is it a matter of the locals just really stepping up and playing to the expectations asked of them?
Yeah, for me, yes. Kasi like, they've had the same core before. They had Paat, they had Karandang Laure. But I think it's the level of play, like you mentioned, yung level of play ni EJ ngayon was like yung prime niya ng UAAP. So that adds up a lot of firepower to their lineup.
Nag-unload din sila ng mga players.
Yes, they did.
Kaya yung expectations, ano mangyayari dito sa kanila? They don't seem to be, at least in 2 minutes, in the 2 games that we've seen, they don't seem to be heavily reliant on the import as opposed to the other
Absolutely.
teams. Can you quickly, before we finish with Cherry, talk about the coaching?
Well, it's very creative talaga kasi yun nga, they're not import-centric, and I think both setters, Alina and Jasmine, have been doing a great job distributing the balls. I mean, at some point, it was really Pat and Laure, but last game, they showed us how much potential their middle game has. I mean, not just Karanda, we've also seen some highlights from Baliton. So, I think, yun din, super creative talaga on how the coach utilizes everybody.
Coach Aying.
Absolutely. So yung last game nila, they had Karandang, Paat, and EJ Laure leading the scoring, and the locals really stepping up as we mentioned a while ago. Moving on now to Akari, syempre getting the first win as a franchise, always a big momentous occasion, a good milestone. Your thoughts on them, how they're looking and how they're adjusting to life in the limelight?
Well, in their first game, parang everyone's anticipating how the team would work together. I mean, in their socials, nakikita natin mga glimpse of the players, especially all these players came from different systems. So, we also know that their import is a former Olympian, di ba? So, I think in their first game, they started strong, medyo kinapos kasi personally, I think hindi naman na-maximize ng sobra yung imports nila. I mean, she top scored pero they could have went to her more para mas naging maganda yung resulta kasi ang taas ng porsyento niya doon. But in their last game naman, pumorsento sila sa kanya. She had 25 points in that game, but she also had great support from the locals like Erika Raagas, even Janine Marciano stepped up.
Si Erika Raagas, I talked to her prior to the start of the PVL, and the one thing that struck me about our conversation, she says she feels reborn, Mela, here as a pro with a new environment, a new team, with a coach who is teaching her a lot. What have you seen in the 2 games that she's played so far?
Well, we covered her in the UAAP. So from then on, nakita ko talaga na ang laki ng potential ng bata. So, shucks, yung bata nakakatanda. Ang laki ng potential ni Erika. But then, like now, parang yun nga, it came from her. Anyway,
You started this, okay?
Mali ako doon. Sorry, Erika. Pero, ayun nga, she's unleashing it more now, and she seems very comfortable. And I think we have to give credit also to their setters. She's worked with the Jaja Maraginot in her Ateneo days. But Michelle Cobb has really been feeding her a lot. That's why in their first game, she had that confidence boost, scoring around 16, 17 points.
Yeah, and syempre, a lot more exciting things to watch out for
Best
Akari
player,
for sure.
di ba? Nung second game, si Erika rin. Tama.
So let's take a look at some of the games tomorrow. Syempre, we can't not talk about it. The Battle of the Champions muna tayo. Creamline versus Petro, Gazz. A lot of matchups to look out for. Gia, Eliza, and Sed against Bang Pineda, who's #1 in digs right now. Van der Weyde and, of course, Jonas Abete. So many to watch out for. What are you most excited for with that match?
Well, just like in Cherry Tigo, I'm most excited about seeing the locals of Petrogas really step up also. Kasi I think if there's one edge ng Creamline, it's really how their locals really play together. I mean, you can't really just rely on their import because we know their locals can also contribute the same amount of output for their team. So, Jonas Abete was a revelation in their first game, and I'm really expecting that not just her, even the middles would contribute big time against a heavy loaded Creamline lineup.
A lot of people not talking about Petrogas, no? And remember, they are the defending champions officially of the Reinforced Conference, going up against the Grand Slam seeking champions. You saw the schedule. Pero in the same day tomorrow is F2.
Yeah.
They're struggling. We have to talk about that, Mela. How do they get out of the funk?
Well, they have to bank on their experience also. Kasi despite everything that's been going on with them, I think this is the only season where they started with 2 losses. And that's very uncharacteristic of their system, of their lineup. And we can't take away those years of experience, those list of awards for their team, for their individual players. So they just have to go back to that and also know that they have a very reliable import, and even Kalei Mao is there. So they have a fully stacked lineup that they really have to maximize. And like I told Pao off air, they just really need one good game for them to really
Makaisa muna, no?
para
Parang ganun, no?
ma-refresh sila and really have their confidence back.
And of course, Army will try to be, will try to spoil the party when regards to that. And syempre, if you're Army though, and you know you're going up against F2, you probably want them, like right now, medyo grasping for straws, looking for answers. What are the things that Army need to do to try and take advantage of yung situation na to?
Well, in contrast with the other teams, si Army naman, pero parang nagiging sila, import-centric. Like, I personally haven't seen the same amount of play from Jovelyn Gonzaga. And I think it's a struggle also kasi she's an opposite, and she's going up against all the imports kasi diba most of the imports are open hitters. So she's struggling, but like in a very familiar opponent in F2. I mean, she's been going up against them for so long. So maybe she could find a way to really support itong si Laura Condota in their game tomorrow.
Well, everyone can catch the 2022 PVL Reinforced Conference live on One Sports, One Sports Plus, Signal Play, and Smart Giga Play every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Mela Tunay, thank you very much for being here.
Oh, may extra?
Wala.
Wala. Okay.
Nice. Kasi ang bait niya sa mga ihan ng liga eh. Oo.
Sabi ko, nag-quote ako. Formal ako today.
Thank you very much, Mela.
Thank you, guys.
Now, when we return, we'll give you the latest updates on Team Yamaha Motor Philippines at the FIM Junior GP 2022. Stay tuned. You're watching the game. back. You're watching The Game. We're shifting over to the racetrack as our country's pride, the Wonderboy, Kyle Paz, continues to compete at the FIM JuniorGP 2022, representing Yamaha Motor Philippines. After finishing 16th overall in his debut campaign back in 2021, Paz showcased his talents on the iconic Motorland Aragon track during the race weekend that kicked off the new JuniorGP season. In the first qualifying run, Paz would record 1 minute and 54.9 seconds for a P10 finish. This would be followed up with a 1 minute 55.6 time in his second qualifier. Paz's combined qualifier times placed him at P12 to wrap up his first day. The first race of the following stage, Kyle would compete 16 total laps around the Motorland Aragon track, finishing with a time of 31 minutes and 10.019 seconds. Through sheer skill, Paz was able to rally from P31 all the way to P14. Now, despite not being able to finish his second race, Paz was pleased with his improved overall performance. Next up for the Wonderboy and Team Yamaha is the upcoming 8th round, set to take place at the legendary circuit Ricardo Tormo. Kyle will rep the country once again on October 30 in Valencia, Spain. Stay tuned for more updates on the FIM JuniorGP 2022 and the rest of Yamaha Motor Philippine team.
That's it for us tonight. Thank you for joining. I'm Boom Gonzalez.
Catch us weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. I'm Paolo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.